Aquaman 2018 Moo Review. Welcome everybody to the video. Today we're going to be going over Aquaman, and this movie, it was kind of all over the place. I'm just going to come out and say it right off the bat. It was all over the place. Let's start off by going over some of the characters of this movie. Aquaman's character in particular, there's a scene in earlier towards the beginning of the movie where Aquaman makes a pretty harsh choice, but one that is actually fair. It's the kind of choice that maybe a superhero like the Punisher or Batman would make. It's kind of like the I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you either choice. And I really actually I liked this scene because I kind of expected him to be like a cool villain, somebody who's really tough, but at the end of the day, he still saves people. And don't get me wrong, that is mostly what he is in this movie. But that one scene, it was just a pretty harsh moment that Aquaman had, and I really thought that it was a good scene to have for the movie and for Aquaman's character. It shows what kind of a person he is. He's the kind of guy who is going to let murderers die when they deserve to, but he's also going to, as shown later on in the movie, save innocent people who don't deserve to die, obviously. So I do like the darker route that they took with Aquaman's character, but if you're going to have the main character of the movie, also the title of the movie is Aquaman, if you're going to have the main character be this darker character, then I feel like the rest of the movie should also be a little bit darker as well, and it just wasn't. The tone of the movie did not quite match the tone of Aquaman's character. Also, Aquaman's character is shown as being this serious tough guy, as well as being some comic relief in the movie later on, especially during the scenes where he is with Mira. He is basically just a big, dumb guy, and he's like, he goes from being this cool, tough Aquaman character to being a big, dumb guy, and Mira's super smart, and she's always telling him how dumb he is and stuff like this. And I know that they're going for comic relief during these scenes, but it just doesn't really hit that well with me. I don't think that there were any funny parts really. There's nothing memorable about this movie that in terms of comedy at least. I will say though, in terms of the memorable parts of this movie, there is one action sequence. It's during the fight with the Black Manta that I thought was really well done. I will give this movie props actually for all of its action sequences. I think that they're all really well done, and I really like all of the action sequences in this movie. I really like all the fight scenes. I think that they're some of the better fight scenes out of all of the DC Cinematic Universe movies. Getting back to what I was saying earlier though, I especially like that Black Manta fight scene. There's a shot that literally lasts for like 2 or 3 minutes, and it is just non-stop action, and it's all taken in one shot, and I think it's really well done, and I thought that scene right there was really cool. But sadly, the action sequences in this movie are just about the only good thing about it. But that being said, they are really good, and I liked them. Also, there's kind of a lot of action scenes too, so I guess that's a plus for this movie. The only thing that's good about it is shown kind of a lot, but the rest of the movie is just bad. The storyline I don't really care about. It wasn't really that good. It wasn't really well thought out. There was just there was so much storyline that they had to cram into this movie. It's already two and a half, well, almost 2.5 hours. It's 2 hours and 22 minutes, and it's all super fast paced. It feels like it could have been double the length, and then it would have been actually good and well paced. But the pacing on this movie is just terrible. And that being said, even though it's super fast paced, and I'm somebody who doesn't really like extremely slowly paced movies, I think that it's really boring when the pacing is super slow in a movie. But that being said, for this one, there were still parts where I was just bored of it because I just flat out didn't care about the plot at all. I didn't care about the characters, the plot. There was nothing that I cared about in this movie. A huge criticism that I have over superhero movies in general, Marvel, DC, other, doesn't matter, is the villains. A lot of these superhero movies, they don't flesh out the villain characters almost at all. They focus entirely on the superhero and they don't show any respect to the villains at all. And this movie definitely does that. It does it pretty bad. They don't flesh out the villain character at all in this movie. They do a terrible job on his character, and Ocean Master actually is somebody who I was interested in seeing this movie leading up to it, watching the trailers. I was interested to see what Ocean Master was going to be doing in this movie, and he really didn't do much except for just fight Aquaman, and that's all that he did. So, yeah, they didn't do a good job with the main villain character. They weren't very consistent at all with the main hero character, the main character of the entire movie. The other characters weren't good either. I could go into the Black Manta character and the Mira character, and it's really a shame because I really like the Black Manta, but I didn't really like almost any of the characters in this movie. It didn't really reel me in at all in terms of emotional attachment to the characters. Overall, it just seems like another superhero movie to me. It seems like the people making it and working on it didn't really care that much about the superhero at all. Overall, it just seems like another pretty basic superhero movie to me. It wasn't really that good, but there were some redeeming qualities of it, such as the fight scenes and the cinematography during a few sequences of this movie. But at the end of the day, if you want to see Jason Momoa walking around looking all cool, then this movie is for you. If you want to see something with well thought out character development and depth, with an interesting and intriguing plot that's also well paced, then this movie is not for you. And I suggest you go watch something else, like, for example, Ford vs. Ferrari. And if you're just a fan of Aquaman and superheroes and you just want to see some cool fight scenes, then you can also watch this movie. I'd also recommend it, but you can also just look up the fight scenes on YouTube and save yourself the other 2 hours. Overall, on the movie review scale, I'm going to give this movie a C minus, which on the movie review scale, it's not a good score. It's a little below average, with the average score probably being around a C. But yeah, in no circumstance or in any conversation would I ever recommend for anybody to watch Aquaman, unless they specifically said, what movie should I watch? I like Aquaman, then I would say maybe you should watch Aquaman. But if somebody said, what movie should I like? I like superheroes. I wouldn't say, oh, you should watch Aquaman. I would probably say, oh, you should watch Infinity War and then Endgame. Or, oh, you should watch Batman Begins. But I definitely would not recommend watching this movie. I watched it once. I'm not going to watch it again. However, I am going to look up the fight scenes on YouTube from time to time when I get bored. So yeah, overall, that's my review. It gets a C minus. Thank you everybody for watching. Let me know what you thought of this movie in the comment section down below. Even if your opinions differ from mine, I'm still interested to hear what they are. And with that all being said, again, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.